Hello people of YouTube, and welcome to the Jay Flat Out YouTube channel. Of course, I'm Jay, and if you don't know already, I do have a 10,000 subscriber giveaway coming up. I'm going to be giving away this radar detector to one lucky subscriber. That's about all you need to do to enter, is just be subscribed. I'll pick at random using a software system of some kind, but anyway, make sure you're subscribed to be entered into that giveaway. What I want to talk about today in the middle of the Nevada desert is how to drive fast and the key points of driving that allow you to drive fast and smooth without wrecking and going off the road. Now, the first thing I will say about this is my official disclaimer, is I would never publicly condone somebody go over the speed limit on a public road, and of course you should always follow all applicable road laws and keep racing to a track. Now, this isn't about racing, this is about how to drive in a high performance fashion and the things that you should consider when doing so. But once again, this should never be performed on a public street. One of the first things you want to consider is your tire. They're a Pirelli P0, as you can see, in a 255/35/20. 255 refers to the width of the wheel, the 35 is the height of the sidewall, and then the 20 is the size of the rim. Now, what that means is the sidewall is what gives a tire play. So if you have a truck with a lot of sidewall, that means that the solid point, being the rim, and the road have a bigger area of sidewall that can flex when cornering, compared to a low profile tire doesn't have that flex and doesn't allow that play. The width is also important because obviously it's the amount of tire that is connected with the ground, and obviously the more tire you have connected with the ground, the more traction you can get and the more grip, basically the more surface area your vehicle has with the ground, which is very important. The second thing to consider when driving is momentum. Now, I see a lot of people on the freeway, and you can tell kind of who is a inexperienced driver because they accelerate, brake, accelerate. They just have this kind of pattern of going back and forth between the accelerator and the brake. Now, when driving in a high performance way, or when any kind of precision driving, momentum is what's key. So when you go into a corner, a nice smooth steering wheel motion rather than a jerky, back and forth, nice and smooth on the accelerator, and if you need to, the brake, using the gears in manual mode to slow yourself for a corner so you can hit the apex and accelerate out smoothly. Those are some of the things that are gonna help with your performance driving. One of the other main things to consider is your driving position. Now, in a high performance driving situation, you never wanna be out like this, cruising, any of this kind of stuff. This is one of the situations where you want a kind of a tight driving position. You want both hands to be able to reach. This thing they say is, if you can put your wrist over without having to lean forward. I'm in kind of a tougher place because my legs are really long, and so if I'm too close, my knees will be up like this. I'm actually gonna take my watch off for this. So if my knees are too close, I'll be up, my knees will be up. So what I usually tend to do is I'll go a little closer, bring the backrest up a little bit, and about right there is where I like to be. Any kind of performance driving, you're never doing one of these kind of highway cruisers. You always want to have two hands on. At the 9 and the 3 position is where I like to be. They teach you 10 and 2 at driving school, and for, again, a novice highway driver, that may be correct, but for any kind of speed or endurance driving, you want to be at 9 and 3. There's a reason that the Audi models put their paddles directly behind the 9 and 3 position. It's because you obviously cannot shift from the 10 and 2 position, because again, that is not where performance drivers drive at. They're 9 and 3. So again, those are the most important things. The fourth most important thing is that you do not exceed the capabilities of your vehicle. More often than not, when I see somebody driving hysterically on the freeway, it's like a Chevy Cruze or like a Hyundai Accent or something like that. And while there's nothing wrong with those cars as a means of transportation, you know, those cars are not intended to be driven to those standards and to those limits, you know, and you have a very small, thin, you know, cheap tire on that vehicle. And you remember, when driving anything of any nature, the tire is the only thing holding your vehicle to the road. So again, you know, you want to make sure if you're going to be doing any kind of high performance driving, you have the correct vehicle and the correct setup to do so. So one of the things as I'm driving here is obviously, you know, your vision. Now, I know a lot of people are used to just driving on the highway and used to, you know, not necessarily, you know, having to kind of pay attention to what's going on more than the car in front of them. But any driver that you know, that you come across that is a professional driver or high performance driver, is going to tell you that they're looking anywhere from an eighth to a quarter, maybe even a half mile ahead of them, because when you're driving in any kind of speed or any kind of precision, you don't want anything to be a surprise at the last second. One other thing I wanted you guys to notice is I'm nowhere near anybody else. I'm nowhere near any kind of suburban area, because, you know, people that drive 90 through a 25-mile-an-hour zone, that's not cool. Anybody can do that. I can do that. Anybody can look like they're going fast through a neighborhood. Anybody can go 60 in a neighborhood and look like they're going fast. That is not, you know, an impressive drive. Somebody who can floor it in a straight line and then loses their composure once any kind of corner comes up, you know, that's not impressive at all. And as I stressed in the beginning of this video, you know, I want to make sure that you guys know that I'm not telling you to go out and street race. You know, any kind of performance driving, go to a track day, go to an autocross day. You know, they let most cars on with some rudimentary safety features, and you can have a lot of fun and really learn the limits of your car in a safe environment without putting anybody else at danger. So you'll see as I'm driving here, I'm very focused on the road. You know, I'm not letting my phone distract me. I'm not letting the music distract me. I'm just really at one with the car right now, and at one with the machine. So what I'm doing is I'm keeping, obviously, I'm aiming high in my corners, because as I come around a corner, you know, I don't want anything to surprise me, and I'm allowing myself an out. Whereas if there's a corner that I can't see or a corner that I'm not familiar with, you know, I'm not gonna go around that corner blaring, because, you know, I don't know what's around it. And again, that's how you avoid getting yourself into a hairy situation. So as I approach a corner, I tend to drift towards the center of the lane, and then as we come in, you'll see me tighten up and come around and accelerate out. Then as we go back the other way, again, not touching the brakes. We're in automatic mode right now. I'm going to put it down into manual. Again, I'm shifting down into fourth. Here's a corner, a left corner coming up, so I'm going to shift down into third. The car is going to bring me to a slower speed automatically because of the downshift. And then as I turn the corner, I'm going to use the accelerator to accelerate through the apex of that corner and then shift back up into fourth. You know, if you were going a lower speed, you'd use second and third, or even first and second. That, you know, we're not kind of going over gears. But again, another corner, shift back down into third. I'm using the paddle shifting mode. As we come around here, you'll see I keep my body and my back rigid. I'm not kind of letting the corner take me. And again, it's because these seat bolsters are high quality, and you know, I have the correct seat to do this kind of driving. And that's why you see guys who race, they have, you know, Sparco or whatever brand of seats that, you know, really hold you in position. Again, a tighter corner, so I'm actually going to drop it down one more gear in a second as we come around here and accelerate smoothly out. All this time that I've been talking to you so far, I haven't pressed the brake once, because if you anticipate the corner and you know what you're doing and you don't outdrive the car, then you don't need to necessarily use the brake. So here's a slower corner, so I'm down in a second. I see it's clear on the apex, hit third, and accelerate out smoothly. Again, you don't need to, I see a lot of guys who just floor it down the straight and then slam the brakes in second, because, you know, or I see a lot of guys who absolutely floor it down the straight, and then they've got to, you you know, slam on the brakes for a corner because they're going way too fast for the environment, and again, the vehicle won't allow them to do that. So again, here we come around, and nice and smooth, still in third gear. I'm gonna just let off because I'm not sure what's around this corner. Again, no braking yet, still in third. Okay, I see it's more clear, so I'm gonna accelerate through the apex, just avoid a couple potholes there, and accelerate through smoothly. As you guys can hopefully see on the video, my body is very smooth, and my action, I'm not doing any jerking motions because I'm not letting anything surprise me during this drive. I'm keeping everything in my line of sight, and I'm keeping everything very tight and secure and deliberate. When performing a high-performance drive or operating a high-performance vehicle on the track, again, you don't want any surprises that you're having to do any kind of drastic motion, because remember I told you about the fluidity and the momentum of the vehicle. I want to keep that momentum of the vehicle smooth as I travel through the corners rather than, you know, opposite of where I'm going. So again, as we come through here, we're going to just very smoothly kind of accelerate through and not let anything take us by surprise. This is actually a nice smooth road. I'm going to drop down into third here, and again, you'll see me no problem whatsoever going the speed limit around that corner. So now we can get a different view from the front, and we'll be able to get a better idea of kind of what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go back into manual mode using the paddle shifters. Again, this is a private road. I know that nobody's going to be coming down here. That's why I chose to film this video here, so there's absolutely no risk whatsoever. So again, we're going to go into manual mode, and as we come around here, I'm going to drop to third. I see it's clear. Then I can accelerate around using the car to drop into fourth and fifth. Another corner coming up, so I'm going to drop to fourth, drop to third, hit the apex, still in third, I see it's clear, then we drop to fourth, and we accelerate away. Again, nothing is taking me by surprise. You're not seeing any kind of jerking motion from me because I'm using the vehicle, I'm using the road to drive appropriately. I'm just going to change the suspension settings there. So here we go, corner coming up, drop to fourth, drop to third, avoid that pothole. I will jerk to avoid a pothole, that's the only thing. So as we come around here, again, we're going to use, I'm not going to use, on a track I would use that corner of the, I would use the close corner, but again, without being on a closed course, you know, I'm just going to stay here. So as we come around here, just a nice turn, shift it into fourth, and we accelerate away. Now it should look very smooth on the camera, hopefully, because that's obviously the idea. Drop back down to third, turn in on the apex, we accelerate out. Again, it's not hard to drive well. You just have to know the steps to do it correctly and safely. You know, now I'm going to demonstrate, you know, improper driving and what I see a lot of people doing, and how, you know, and I hope on the video, you know, I do have image stabilization on, but I hope on the video you'll be able to see the difference, you know, of what the difference is. So what I see a lot is people coming up here, you know, and they'll kind of be here and they'll cut it too close, so they're back, and then they're back. Oh wait, no, I'm not sure, you know. And you see how my hands are going back and forth because I'm not confident in the corner, and you see the momentum of the car. The car's computer is probably thinking, what the heck is this guy doing right now, as it's trying to use the adaptive air suspension to kind of keep the car settled. But you know, coming out this way, again, I'm coming in way too close. You know, I see a lot of stuff like this, you know. Oh, really tight, oh wait, too much, no, really tight, oh no, wait, okay, there we are. And then, oh, there's a straight, I'm gonna go super fast. You know, I'm gonna go super fast. Oh wait, I don't know what's going on, so I'm gonna be hard on the brakes, let off, you know. Oh wait, no, okay, oh, it's just a corner, I didn't know where I was going. So again, You know, it's a really poor driving style, and it takes a lot more energy, and the car is doing a lot more kind of back and forth, and the momentum of the vehicle is all over the place, and that's just not where you want to be at in any kind of high performance situation. So again, I'm going to go back to doing it the right way now, and as we come around this corner, again, just nice and smooth. I can see around here, so I'm going to accelerate through the apex and then come back onto the straight in fifth gear. Gonna do it for today's video. I hope you learned some tips and tricks, and if you only take one thing away from this video, is to make sure that you only drive within your vehicle and your personal capability, and again, you don't do so on a street where it's gonna put others in jeopardy, because you know, I've driven a lot on the street, and even though I know what I'm doing, or I know what I feel like I know what I'm doing, you never know what the general public's gonna do, and that's why we should keep that style of driving to a track. And again, there's no shame and there's nothing wrong with telling somebody, hey, you know what, I don't feel like you are in control, and I don't want you to drive like that when I'm in the vehicle, because you know, it's just, car guys get egos, and every car guy thinks that he's a great driver, and unless you've actually raced professionally or you have any kind of advanced driving certificate that I do, you know, and a lot of the guys that I race with do, you know, that's why I feel confident, because I have a fairly good idea that I can anticipate what they're gonna do. But you know, it's like car guys kind of get a car and just think that they're Superman all of a sudden, and guys, just be careful out there, because I don't want to see you hurt, I don't want to see anybody else hurt, and I definitely don't want to see your beautiful project cars ruined. So thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to be entered into the chance to win that radar detector 10,000 subscriber giveaway, and we'll see you next video.